Hey guys, it's Eddie, and today I am back with another movie review for you all. Now, I was wondering, I kind of had a little bit of a crisis today because I was wondering what on earth I was going to review for you, and then my wonderful, amazing friend Jess stepped in and said, "Why don't you review Grease?" And I said, "That's a great one. Thank you, I will go with that." So, the movie, or musical movie, should I say, that we will be reviewing today is Grease, directed by Randall Kleiser. And I have to say, I'm so happy to be doing this as a review because it is one of my favourite movies of all time. Like, I've been watching it since I was little, I've watched it so many times, I cannot count. I cannot actually count in my brain how many times I've watched this film. I've watched it over and over the years, and my mum loves it too. And I know that my friend Jess is a huge fan, so it's great to be doing this movie review for you all. But let's cut the rambling and get straight to reviewing. So, this movie, it's kind of timeless. I mean, it was released in 1978, and who doesn't know a song by Grease? I think the songs are so important, not only because it's a musical, but the fact that they are all, including the title track Grease, by sung fantastically by Frankie Valli, is they're all electric. They're all sort of hummable and singable, and they resonate in your mind straight after watching the film. They're so catchy, and they're just full of sort of, you know, sheer brilliance. And there's not a single song in the whole film that is bad, I don't think. You can't name one when you think, oh, do I have to name a bad song in Grease? Because there literally isn't one. And they make the picture come alive, and they give a sort of, I mean, a lot of the songs, because it's a musical, make the film feel unreal and unnatural, and it doesn't make it feel like this is happening in real life. But I don't think that really matters because, we don't mind that we're watching something that isn't, gritty or raw or real or doesn't portray real life, because it's so wonderfully entertaining. You cannot take your eyes off this movie, I don't think, and the songs certainly help that. They draw you in, they have fantastic melodies, and they are executed wonderfully by the cast, who are, of course, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, Jeff Conway, Stockard Channing, which I forgot to mention. They're the sort of main four, shall we say, although, the whole cast is just fantastic. Now, the dialogue actually in between the songs is snappy, it's witty, it's fun, and it's full of that sort of ferocious, energy that we get, or, we appear to get from a movie set in 1950s high school time. And it's wonderful. Sometimes with the musical, the songs are the main attraction, and although I think I said that, you are not bored in between, because the cast are able to portray the script with this wonderful comedic casual genius that they all convey in their own magnificent ways. I mean, the characters are all different. Marty's really flirty, Jan is really sort of quirky, Rizzo is sort of laid back and cool, and even the T-Birds, the guys, they all have different traits about them that keep you really hooked and endeared to these characters, and you end up just loving them so much. You want the best to work out for them, and it's wonderful. Now, I realise actually that I haven't specified the plot of the movie, and I apologise for that, because I just seem to think in my head that everyone has seen Grease. But if you haven't, basically, small little taste of the plot. We are introduced to these two kids as a sort of preface. you know, playing or, you know, flirting happily on the beach. And that is, of course, John Travolta, Danny, and Olivia Newton-John, Sandy. And they're sort of, you know, lamenting about the fact that high school recommences soon and they won't be able to see each other because she has to go back to Australia. And, you know, we think, oh gosh. But then, of course, she ends up moving to America and she winds up at the same school as Danny and has absolutely no idea. So that is just a little bit of a taste of the plot. And you know, if you haven't seen Grease, watch it to see how that pans out, because it's just an essential movie. Like, you have to watch this movie in your lifetime, according to me. It's perfect for anyone. I think no matter what you're into, if you're not a musicals person, that's fine. You don't have to be to watch this film, because neither am I. I'm not a particularly huge fan of musicals. I'm not an avid watcher of them, you know, film or theatre wise. I think the only other movie or musical movie that I've like seen, you know, nearly as much as Grease is Bugsy Malone, which I also adore. But yeah, this movie is perfect for anyone and I would definitely watch it. And I would watch it because I think it's such a resonant musical. I mean, it was released in 1978, and you know, who doesn't know a song from Grease? Who doesn't know Grease Lightning or You're the One That I Want? Everybody knows a song from Grease, even if you haven't seen it. And I think it's one of the best sort of modern musicals of all time, in my humble opinion, because I haven't got an extensive knowledge on musicals, but you know, I'm just putting it out there that it as a film by itself, without sort of counting it as a musical, is like an essential film to watch. The cast are wonderfully funny, and you know, even though the story is kind of far-fetched, it's very sweet. And you know, there is a rocky road to see how the sort of lives of these, you know, young characters will pan out, but I think it's got a lovely resolution, and you can just pick out quotes from this film that are just so memorable and hilarious. And the great thing about this film is that even if we set aside the main cast, I think even the supporting cast, so you know, the likes of the people playing Eugene and Patty Simcox, so like the, you know, the sort of sideline characters, they're just so perfectly constructed. You know exactly who they are, what kind of character they're portraying, and you know, you just come to grow to know them so well. And I can't actually fault this movie. Okay, maybe one thing I will fault about this movie is the fact that I'm propping my arm up on the desk here because I'm like, okay. Maybe one thing I would fault about this movie is the ending. And by the ending, I mean that when Danny and Sandy fly off in the car. I've never understood that. I've never understood that, because I know I said that the fact that it's presented as a musical and we have these sort of outbursts of songs in the middle of the film shows that we are watching something that is not meant to be authentic and real. So I accept that, but at the same time, I feel like the ending is just really out of place and strange. Why do they fly off in a car? I know there have been like really weird fan theories about what, you know, explaining why, you know, that happened, and I don't know if I agree with those, but I'm just taking it as, you know, the movie, the set movie by itself, and it's a little bit of a weird one. I don't think it was entirely necessary, but it's Grease, so who really cares? It's fantastic anyway. Even if you know, even with that very strange conclusion. But I think everything about this film is fantastic. It's sort of one of those films that you can watch over and over again and not get bored, and it will just brighten your day no matter what. I particularly think that the Rydell dance competition scene, when the National Bandstand comes to it's chosen Rydell as its school of choice this year to film, and it's got to be one of the most hilarious and most entertaining scenes of all time. The cast are consistent in their comedic genius sort of throughout, and it stands out in my mind as one of my favourite scenes of all time. It's wonderful, it's so funny, and it's one of those scenes that you just don't want to end because it's just so full of like verve and energy, and it's got some really fast and frequent shots. The direction is great, and it's just so well constructed and brilliant, and I love it. So I am not a musical gal. I'm not a huge fan of them, but if I had to rate this movie out of 5 stars, I would give it a 5. Absolutely no doubt in my mind, I would give it 5 stars because it's just such an entertaining film, and it will continue entertaining you if you watch it throughout your life, because it has done with me ever since I was a little kid and I watched it. I've never got bored of it, and it's just a really fun romantic comedy musical, and it's just stand out for its time and its decade and its genre. So I think I would definitely not hesitate to give it 5 stars. So with that, I want to thank you, Jess, very much for suggesting this movie for me to review, and I will kindly ask anyone who has who wants to request a movie for me to review to do so by leaving a comment below or messaging me on my Tumblr. Again, I'm sorry, the lighting in this room is so terrible and half of my face is sort of cast in shadow. I am so sorry. I tried so hard to get the lighting in this room right, but it just won't. I'm still getting used to things here in my new university lodging, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!